Hey parents, have you been feeling like you've been losing some sort of connection with your kids? You feel like you've been kind of two ships starting to drift apart from each other, and you kind of don't know what to do, but you want to build a connection that is unbreakable. But in today's video, I'm interviewed again by Anne Alvarez. She's a parenting coach and a school counselor, and she's a parent of older kids, of teenagers, and now they're in their 20s, and my children are younger. And we talk about connection, about strategies, about tips, about stories, about what draws connection, what creates connection, and what creates separation, and what you can do about it. And this was a great conversation. It was a lot of fun. We shared a lot of laughs. We shared some great stories. And this is not the entire interview. This is some pieces that I've taken from the entire interview. I'm going to post the entire interview, which is on Anne's channel, and I'll post that below so you can go check that out and support her as well. But if you've been looking for a way to move from separation and bring a relationship back together, this conversation will help immensely. And reach out to us if you have any questions. Let's get into the conversation.
Again. Thank you, Jesse. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for allowing me to come on again. This is becoming such a regular thing. We might have
No,
to
right?
just be
I
co-hosts
know the
now.
dynamic duo. That's what's happening here.
Right.
Okay, we have a new topic for you parents. We're going to talk about connection and making memories. So, Jesse, tell parents how old your kids are.
So my son is 6.5 and my daughter is 9. Just turned
Okay, and
9.
then mine are older. Mine are 14 and 24. But
Oh, great. So
still,
we'll get a nice, well-rounded
yeah,
conversation.
yeah, we can get a lot of ideas, right, about connection. So why do you think it's important to build connection with our children?
Yeah, I mean, that's so important because we're humans, we're all one, like on a global scale, we're one, right? We we're one race, the human race, but above that, we're living beings, we're growing creatures. But then on a smaller scale, in the family, like we're one family, we have the same name, we're building generational, we talked the last time about generational patterns and cycles, and we can recreate our own family traditions. We can recreate cycles for our future generations, for our kids and their kids.
Right,
And the only way we do that is together, right?
right. I was thinking about like biologically, we are wired for connection. Like from
Mm,
the moment that we're babies, right? We want,
primates, they're
we thrive when we are held and we are loved and we are taken care of. And it doesn't stop. We want connection like throughout our lives, right? So, you can tell from like a toddler or uh, like, okay, well, a baby will cry. I need mom, I need dad. And toddlers, they will follow you around, right?
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
that is it's in our biology to be connected, right? So
yeah.
that's part of our role as parents is to make sure that we are feeding the connection piece with our kids. Um, how do you build connection with your children?
I'll tell you how I do it, and then I'd like to hear how you do it, how you have done it, things that didn't work. I think that would be a cool conversation.
Yeah.
First of all, a little bit about my background for those that don't know. I was a teacher for 17 years, an English teacher. So, and I've taught from kids from like 5 years old up until university age and then adults. So I've interacted with a lot of different age ranges. My favorite are the teens. I love teenage classes because
Wow.
it's a lot harder to build that connection, but once you do, it's strong. All
Yes.
right. So, and that's, I guess, why as well. How do you build connection? I guess if I were to say one thing to build connection, it's hair. Be more interested than interesting to them. Be interested in what they like, in what's important to them. And I would say do what you can to make what's important to the, I guess not make what's important to them important to you, but make that it's important to them important to you. Does that make
Yes,
sense?
totally. Totally. You don't have to, like, you could have no interest. Okay, I'll give you an example. My boys like basketball. Okay, I have no interest in basketball. I like watching the NBA, but I'm not a basketball player. Never have been. Um, and but because I know my boys love it so much, I dedicate time with them to play basketball. And my
Mm,
youngest, he's always teaching me like how to shoot and what to do. And and even though it's not my sport, I enjoy it because it's our time to connect,
yeah, that's
right?
so awesome. Like, and be genuine, right? So, like, that's a great example, like a basketball example. Like, you're genuinely interested in allowing him to teach you how to play, how to dribble, how to shoot. But I'm sure just in knowing you the way we do, like you're not, oh, that's so exciting. So let me try to shoot. Is this how to do it? Oh, I love that you love this. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I'm sure you don't
overdoing,
do that.
over
Yeah.
syruping things.
Yeah. And because in my kid, like my daughter is into this, like she likes different TV shows that like I think there's this one Disney Channel show that she used to like. It's called Sam and Cat. I don't know if you know.
No,
Like it's just silly, ridiculous. Like I hated that she liked it. You know what I mean? But like, and I turned that into our connection. Like, she would know that I hate that she likes it. So that would make her like it more, but we do it in a playful way and and say this show is so stupid. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, Daddy, don't say stupid. I was like, well, I didn't call them stupid. You can't say people are stupid, but this show, come on. You know what I mean? Like but
But
like
you,
in a playful way. So like my interest wasn't her interest in liking it, and then it turned into like a connection where banter between us,
yes,
and just based on, and that's another thing, I guess, knowing like I probably wouldn't take that approach with my son because they have different personalities.
mhm,
So it's like knowing your child, like
yeah, noticing things that they want to talk about, right? That's connecting because then you're getting to know that person, right?
mhm,
What and that's so important with our kids is to know them. And yeah, our kids are night and day. Like my kids are night and day.
yeah,
So I don't expect them to be the same.
yeah.
I value both of them for their uniqueness, right?
Yeah,
And it works because we just all love each other. So it's
yeah.
okay that we're not the same or we don't have the same opinions on things. That's okay, right?
We should.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Should.
Okay. Do your
Uh,
kids get along? Your boy and girl?
yeah. So, at times. So they're a unit. I think in my recent YouTube video, I talked about a scene in Remember the Titans. And in Remember the Titans, it was a great movie on leadership. What he kind of did was turn everyone that had their energy against each other, turned it against him. So he was kind of created himself as a common enemy. So,
Mhm,
like with an intention to build unity.
mhm.
So that is like one way. I think being a team is something that's very important for me to cultivate because it's not really the type of leadership that my parents had. We've talked before about like they did the best that they could
Yeah.
with what they had, and
Yes.
they didn't know how to build leadership or build a team,
Team. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's something that's very important to me to
Right.
do. So yeah, they fight all the time. Not all the time. They fight a lot. They also are a team a lot.
Right.
I think that's the same as any kind of like team or relationship. You fight within your team, but at the end of the day, you're a team, and at the end of the day, you got each other's backs.
Like you're going to have conflict, right, in a family. But I'm a firm believer that we are leaders in our families so that our children learn how to get along with each
Yeah,
other. And if we have to be the instruments to foster that, right?
yeah,
You know, that's your brother. You
yeah.
can talk to him about it. This is the dialogue I have with my kids. You can talk to him about it if you want to, if it's bothering you, or
Hmm.
do you need help with that to talk to him about it? You know? And I prefer that they talk to each other than me get in the middle because I want them to learn how to communicate with each other, right? And
Is that
we're not
something
taking,
you've cultivated their whole lives?
I've just become more and more aware of it. But
Hmm.
uh, they've always gotten along. Okay, so there are a 10-year difference. So I think that makes a big difference. But
Yeah,
when I was pregnant, I would be telling my oldest, you know, this is going to be your little brother, your sibling. You're going to be taking care. Like you're only going to have each other. This is the messaging I give them. Yeah, that's why you need to help each other, love each other, all of that, right? Like so that's kind of like the dialogue I had as my oldest was growing up and my youngest was following along. And my youngest was like totally loved him right from the
yeah,
get-go. Uh, do they have disagreements? They don't agree, but they're both, but they, you know, you can feel the love there, right? The brother
yeah,
love there. Um,
yeah.
so I haven't had to do much, but I know from the counseling that sibling uh, arguing really affects a family.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this video. I want to take a quick second to tell you about Apparent Leadership. This is a membership community that I'm creating, and in this community, you will, as I say in the beginning, get a bunch of tools, strategies, and support so that you can break generational cycles and release parenting guilt so that you can create your own family story. You'll get an entire course, a systematized approach to breaking the cycles, not only breaking the cycles, but transforming them, putting something better in its place. Healthy cycles. Be the leader of your family, be the leader of yourself to guide yourself, your partner, your kids to a life on the success highway. I give very easy to follow, very practical, step-by-step solutions. The link's below, check it out, and let's finish the video.
Yeah, yeah. You know how I feel about punishment. I don't believe in punishment at all. So, I'm a relational parent. I'm going to work with my kid to help
Mm,
them. I don't want shaming.
yeah.
I don't want my child to internalize a dialogue that they're bad because that's what kids do. They internalize a dialogue when we punish them. We can have consequences. I'm not saying like that we don't have consequences. We can have consequences. I just don't believe in punishing. I
Yeah.
believe in, okay, so you broke the TV. Now we don't have a TV. How are we going to solve this problem?
Mm.
Invite your
Has that happened
child.
to you?
No,
Did
that
they break
hasn't
the
happened.
TV?
The kids don't break the.
That would be a big one.
So,
And I think there's a lot in that, like going back to the topic of this discussion to create connection.
yes,
That, like being conversational, have them, involved in the problem solving rather than just like, well, we're going to do this because I said,
yeah,
or like, go to your room. I don't want to
yeah,
hear another word about it.
yeah.
Things like that doesn't build. I mean, I'm a big questioner, so I just like went against my style. Like, would that help you build connection? Listener, whoever's listening, like, would that help you build? Would that make you want to open up um, next time something like this happens?
It closes the door.
Closes the door.
It
Yeah.
closes the door. So we have to be aware of, right? What's closing
Yeah.
the door? Okay, how do we know that our kids are connected to us?
Yeah, that's a great transition because it just like open the door to it. Are they coming to us? Do
Yes.
they trust the relationship enough that they're open when they make a mistake or when they do something wrong, or are they hiding things from you when they do something wrong? If they break a TV, are they acting like nothing happened and then surprised when it doesn't work?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
they doing, whatever? I actually have another story about, that involves my son. He's 6, and we had some guests staying in our house. So 2 teenagers from France, and brothers. And they went out in the day, and I saw my son, the sound of silence as a parent. That's more concerning than anything. So I
Mm-hmm.
was in the kitchen and I hadn't heard anything for a while. I went to check on things. And so I went in my daughter's room, she's drawing. Went in my kid's mother's room, that's where we were at the time, and saw my son next to the bed on the floor. And as soon as I open the door and go in, like, I'm not doing anything. And and I'm like, no. And I go on that side of the bed and I see a light, like a screen. Like, no, you're not doing anything. No. Like, are you playing on the phone or something? Like, no. Like, okay, well, just put it back, and why don't you come out? Just like act like I know, like, but it's not a big deal. Just put it away and then come on. Because I'm a big believer, like, you're not a believer in punishment. I'm a big believer in, like, lay the foundation, lay the path, and trust them to do the right thing. Sometimes they
Yeah,
will, sometimes they won't. But,
yeah,
like, put it back and come out. Why don't you come out? Turn it
right.
off.
Yeah, but-
Because it's his mom's other phone, because she had her phone and there's like another one to play games with. So I go back into the kitchen and he comes out and he's like, Daddy, where's mommy's other phone? It's like, but you were just had it. Like, I was genuinely baffled. I was like, but you just had it. What do you mean where? I don't know. Like, it's like, I can't find it. I was like, you well, let's retrace the steps, because now I was on a mission. Like, what happened here?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's retrace the steps. So you had it, and then what? Did you just, like, put it down and you didn't think about it, and then you went into another room? Like what happened? And he's like, yeah, I don't know where it is. I was like, okay, well, because sometimes we'll do that, right? Our
Yeah,
phones will end up in the refrigerator or something.
yeah, yeah,
How did that happen? So I was like, well, okay, we don't need it anyway because we're not playing with it. So I go back in the kitchen, thinking about what happened. And so he comes in and he says, okay, Daddy, I'm going to tell you the truth. 6 years old. I was like, okay. And I'm like cutting something or washing something. And he's like, that wasn't the phone. I had Luis's camera and I was looking at pictures. I was
okay.
like, oh, okay. And then right there, you're like with two paths. Either, like, you
Get
went and
mad?
hit, yeah, and you took something, or, like, let's look at, like, the bigger picture.
Yes,
He opened up and came to me. If I
yes,
blow up, like, he's not gonna, that's gonna close the connection.
yeah,
You know, he knew it was wrong, so he was trying to hide it. That's why he was looking for the other phone so he could cover his tracks, but he couldn't find it. And so he came to me and opened up, and so I started with, okay, I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay. So that was wrong, right? Yeah. We don't touch other people's stuff when they're not here,
yeah,
and we always ask permission. So, like, it turned into a moment of connection where it could have been a moment of broken connection,
yeah,
because, yeah, you could say, well, he broke the trust. He didn't. No, he's 6. Okay,
yeah,
you're 40.
yeah,
So let's flip the script and act our age and look at what the higher goal is here.
And your son's going to remember that, right? Like if you flipped out and got angry with him, then he's going to remember, don't tell dad,
Yeah. Yeah.
because dad flips out and gets
Yeah.
mad. Oh, dad's not safe to tell things to, right? And then we don't allow
Or
our
like
children.
I said the truth and then I got in trouble. So
Yes,
like I might as well just not tell the truth.
yes, or I got punished, so I'm
Yeah.
not telling the truth next time, right?
Yeah.
So I think, and the fact that he told you speaks volumes about connection. When
Yeah.
our kids come to us with their mistakes, that is an indication that they're connected to us,
Yeah.
you
Oh
know?
yeah. And to compound on that, we then celebrated. I celebrated his win. That's right. I'm remembering now. Like we celebrated him. So I was like, you know what? That because we've worked with his like self-image. He's had some, like self-image problems, like I'm stupid or I'm,
Yeah,
bad, things like
yeah,
that. Like that kind of thing. I said, like that kind of thing. That's what we need more of. See how you are good. See how you did that. That was the right thing. That probably wasn't easy, was it?
yes.
And then like he has this like affirmations poster that he did with his mom, and he went in to get that, and we like went over them together. His
Wow,
sister came out and we all like did it together. And it was
nice.
just a beautiful moment. And that's a beautiful moment of connection
Yeah,
right there.
sure, of course.
I think a big thing for us that's missing is to have connection with yourself.
Yes.
If we don't
Parenting
have
from the
connection,
inside out.
yeah, big time. And I think if I can go back and change my first answer, I think that's the first step is to have a connection with yourself, to
Mhm.
allow yourself to know yourself, because a lot of like we're just so stressed from like, oh, this sounds nice, but I have bills to pay, I have this, I have that, like, and I don't, and but we need to understand, what do I like? I don't have time to think about what I like. You don't have time to not think about what you like, because we can only give to our kids out of what we have an overflow of. If I have an overflow of stress and worry and concern and emptiness and resentment, like that's what I intend is to I punish out of love. No, you're not. Sorry, you're not. You're acting out of the overflow of what you have. So I think the first step of connection is to connect with ourselves.
I love that. I love that. So that's part of being aware too. So this is an example of you like stopping because you could have gotten triggered. My kid lied to me.
Hmm.
How dare he? Right?
Yeah.
But stopping and saying, hold on a second, like slowing everything down. This is what like a lot of parent coaches tell me, like slow everything down and say, okay, hold on, and really listen to my child. Okay, so my child's telling me he did something wrong. He's admitting it. Um, and I have the choice now. I can
Yeah.
get angry with him and punish him, which actually does damage parents
Yeah.
to our kids. Or I can use this as a teachable moment and a connection moment,
Yeah.
right? Um, I'm
And it comes
like,
down to like, what do I want from this? What do I
yeah,
want? That's like the
yeah,
leadership idea. Like, what do I want? What's my
yeah,
intention here?
yeah. I'm going to build relationship with my son. I'm going to say, yeah, well, okay, it happened. Like, I'm glad that you told me, but you know it's wrong, right? I love that. I love that dialogue because it's like it opens your child up to it's okay that I made a mistake. And
Hmm.
dad's asking me, asking me, this is wrong, right? And I have an opportunity to think about my actions. Like
Hmm.
this is what builds confidence, right? I have an
Yeah.
opportunity to stop and think about my actions so that I don't do it again, right? I love that. I just love that story. So good.
Thank you.
It's a
Yeah.
great
And
example.
just like some encouragement to other parents, like not all of my decisions are like this. Not all my stories are like that. You know what I mean? So it's not like, oh yeah, like follow my lead. Well, yeah, follow my leadership, but like in that, like, I have a lot, like any success moment story, um, there's a lot of broken paths moments, you
Yeah,
know? Um, and it's like each one is a learning moment,
right.
to be, and, we're gonna keep making mistakes. And, but it comes down to like, and I know a lot of cliche answers like, well, my kid would never do that. My kid needs this punishment. My kid, and it's like, well, how is that working for you?
Yeah,
Like, how is that like, so if the punishment, if the yelling, if the spanking, if that works, then you probably only needed to do it once, right?
right.
Because it worked.
Yeah,
But no, like you have to do it and then do it again and then do it again. Well, they need to learn. Is that working?
yeah.
You know,
Well, you and I both know with teenagers, probably 90% of the time it doesn't work because
no.
they'll just hide things from you. They will go behind your back. They
Yeah.
will they will do something to get back at you. Like I have teenagers that won't come to school. They'll be like, I'm not coming to school because my parents are, shaming me, punishing me. So I'm not going to go to school. And then I have the dialogue with them. Well, who does that actually hurt? Does
Yeah.
that actually hurt your parents or does that actually hurt you? Right? That's the kind of conversation I have with them. But that's the way teens think. That's the way kids think. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, so you're gonna you're gonna punish me. My way to get back is I'm not gonna go to school. I'm not gonna do what you say, right?
Yeah.
So that's why
Powerlessness.
relationship's so important. Building relationship is so important in our
Yeah.
parenting life. Okay,
Yeah.
I wanna do some takeaways before we go.
So we're going to jump out here. If you want to continue and watch the entire conversation, then you can jump over to Anne's channel and watch it over there. And like I said, if you want to go deeper, if you want tools and strategies and support to take it deeper and to actually implement into your family and have weekly support calls, have a step-by-step process to help you be the family leader to create your own story and create new positive, healthy generational cycles for the future generations, for your kids and their kids, and create a whole new story and a whole new life around finance, around relationships, around love, around whatever you want, then jump into Parent Leadership. The link is in the top comment, and I will see you in the next one.